But yeah, if you can give me the YouTube link and then I can
Yeah.
post that on GU and we can at least have it visible.
Okay. Just give me a second and we'll open the room in a second. Okay. Okay, it's in the, let's put it in the chat.
Okay, cool. So should we let them in?
Yep.
Okay, there we go.
Good morning.
Tim and Irene are with us.
Good morning. Good morning, Harry. Good morning, Pierre. Stan and Matt.
Hello, Harry. Hello, Stan, Pierre. Tim and Luca's here again.
By chance, just by chance, I happen to be with a spare hour.
I hope he knows something about cryptos because we're all going to listen to him now.
I'll do my best.
Hello, everybody. I'm not going to do a big welcome, as we all know the score. We all know the routine. I'm going to keep my eye on the waiting room to make sure that people can enter. We are going to stream on YouTube as well, so no picking of noses. And no difficult questions. No, of course, we want difficult questions. We want all the questions. That's the only thing I wanted to say, guys, is if you do have questions, please start getting them in as soon as you've got them. Luca will spend about 20 minutes, maybe 30, talking about the news and stuff, and then we'll go into the questions. But don't leave it until then to post them, because obviously, you know, you want a nice long answer. So any questions, get them in nice and early. Or, of course, raise your hand, and then we'll bring you in to chat. Okay, over to you, Luca.
Okay, can you all hear me properly? Okay, everything okay with the audio? Okay, this week I think it's there's one main bit of news to discuss because I think it's fairly important to discuss and to understand. It's related to Ethereum. You might have heard about the Ethereum London hard fork that happened yesterday afternoon. And what this will mean for not just for Ethereum, but also for all the tokens that are on Ethereum. As if you've been following crypto and looking at crypto closely from the beginning of the year, you might have noticed that both Bitcoin and Ethereum experience a very high congestion on the network. And it is more noticeable on Ethereum because there are so many projects that are built on the infrastructure. So it's not just related to the Ethereum tokens, but also to all the other tokens that are built on Ethereum. And what happens on Ethereum until yesterday, the way that the fee structure worked on Ethereum was pretty much by auction. So whoever was happy to pay the highest fee could have their transaction put through first. Okay, so what that causes is that in periods where the network was busy, there was kind of like a frenzy to get the transaction written on the blockchain, and that brought the cost of transaction to go sharply up. Okay, so we've gone from sometimes, if you can imagine, having a transaction on Ethereum that was in the kind of like pence or a few dollars beginning of the year, it just got to 20, 30, 50, some transaction even into the hundreds of dollars. So it made it very difficult to operate on Ethereum. And with the hard fork that we had yesterday, with the new changes that have been brought to the network, mainly the main goal was to have some more predictability on how much you will pay in fees to put your transaction through. So we come from the auction system onto a base fee system, and the base fee is calculated, algorithmically, depending on how busy the network is. So it should. I mean, it's only been a few hours since this network update has been up, so we need to see exactly how it pans out in practice. But it should, in theory, make make it easier to understand what the transactions are, and also make it cheaper as well. Because as long as you pay your base fee for your transaction, plus you include a little tip for the miners, your transaction is definitely going to be included in the next block. So the other big change that this you might have read it as the EIP 1559, this new update brought, is that the base fee will be burned with each block creation. So obviously the base fee is not a fixed number, and it really depends on how busy the network is. So on busy periods, the network would charge higher fees, and on quiet periods, it will charge less fees. But it's with each block creation, that transaction would be the base transaction fees will be burnt. And it was speculated that this could bring the Ethereum, the ETH, the currency of Ethereum, to become kind of a deflationary or less inflationary. Ethereum doesn't have a hard cap like Bitcoin, so it doesn't have a maximum number of coins in circulation. Okay, and this is sometimes what is being cited by many institutions as a reason for this low adoption rate, because there's not certainty about how many coins will be in circulation. But with this, what we've seen in the first few hours of this being introduced is that since yesterday afternoon, more than 10 million worth of Ethereum has been burned. But that we need to put it into perspective. We need to see how much Ethereum is being created. So roughly is about 2.5 Ethereum is being burnt every minute. But at the same time, there is one block created every 15 seconds. And with each block, 2 Ethereums are created out of thin air and given to the miners as a reward. So for each minute, you have 8 Ethereum blocks being created, and about, so far, I mean, there's very little data, obviously, because it's only been less than a day, but so far about 2.5 ETH per minute being burnt. So the effect so far has been of a slowing down on the Ethereum inflation rate. But when we combine this with the upcoming change from proof of work to proof of stake, it might well make Ethereum become a deflationary asset. So that means that every year we're going to have less Ethereum in circulation than we had the year before. Obviously, it all remains to be seen, because, as I said before, the fees on Ethereum are not a fixed amount. So, we'll have a much better idea after we can have a few weeks of data and maybe to go through a couple of cycles, quiet and busy cycles, to see how that affects the amount of fees that are being generated. So it's a very big innovation, and what effect has that had on price? So far, the market seems to be reacting positively to the change, and Ethereum has gone up about 2.5% since yesterday afternoon. But what you got to think about is that generally this is an announcement that was known for months. So it's not news from that point of view. It's not something that caught the market by surprise. And what markets do, they price in certainty. So the change is only when there is something in the market is not expecting. For those of you, for example, that are involved in trading the US markets or the foreign exchange, you know that the non-farm payroll is a big announcement every month that you look up to that can move the markets. Now, it can only move the markets, though, if the announcement is different from what the market has priced in already, what the market is expecting. And it's the same thing here. Okay, so we were expecting for this upgrade to go on, so nothing new there. And kind of like the only thing to see that could move the market is to see, well, are there any problems or not? So are there glitches with the code? Are there glitches with when this was moved from the testnet to the mainnet? And so far, everything seems to have gone according to plan. And so, there's been kind of like a gentle move up for Ethereum, even when some of the other cryptos are stayed still or gone down slightly. So it is a possible good news, and the more news to come, along the line, with a very big change being when they would move from proof of work to proof of stake. It is rumored to be scheduled towards the end of the year, beginning of next year. But it's just speculation so far, and it is a massive undertaking, because it's not just changing the blockchain, but you've got to think about the huge ecosystem that Ethereum has, and all the other projects that are built on Ethereum. So it doesn't just affect the blockchain itself, but everything else is being built on top. And this is kind of like the difference we're seeing between, for example, Ethereum and Cardano, where Cardano has a different approach, where they are building everything to be correct from the beginning, and then they're going to release all the applications on top, where it's a lot more difficult to do what Ethereum is doing, and kind of like changing and moving a moving structure that has thousands of working pieces attached to it. So it's big change that can encounter a few problems, but this will, we will see a few months down the line. Now, if I share the screen, I can just look at a couple of other pieces of news. I wanted mainly to keep it on this, because it's a very big, it is a very big deal what happened yesterday. I didn't really want to take away from this and change it go in other directions. So let's just okay. Just share my screen. Okay. The other very big bit of news, and as you can see here, is the talk about introducing the kind of like a crypto regulation bill that is trying to go through Congress as we speak. And there are, as you can see even by this article, I mean, this is explanatory tax proof of stake. I mean, this is we'll see what happens and which direction it will go into. But the one thing to understand is that there are lobbying groups, and at the moment, crypto as a whole doesn't have a unified voice. The one thing that has found a voice recently is the Bitcoin miners. And there are, as you know, there are some mining companies that are already on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange, like Riot Blockchain, for example, and they are lobbying strongly to be not to be included so much in the increased reporting requirements that looks like they're going to be introduced in this bill. And I think at the moment that the US, like many other countries as well, are scrubbing around thinking how they can, take some money out of crypto to fund some of the projects that they are thinking of implementing. It is a worrying period, especially for our US friends, because we don't know which way this is going to go. Obviously, if a punitive system is developed for reporting, that could have an effect on the whole crypto industry. But in particular, it could push a lot of projects outside of the US and to redeploy in other countries that are more crypto friendly. Now, we were talking about, for example, last week, as Kazakhstan, for example, just one example, was trying to encourage outside investment in blockchain into the country. And so as there are countries that are fighting crypto, other countries are welcoming it, and we've seen a whole redeployment of resources across the world. You know, the China Bitcoin miners are now being redeployed in other countries of the world. Is this going to happen again with the US? This is a much, much bigger deal. You know, what I hear around from all the people in crypto, the companies that are dealing with crypto, say they're asking all their followers to write to their senators, to write to their representatives in the House of Congress, you know, asking them not to punish basically this sector, because it is the fastest growing technology sector, and you know, it's mainly being developed outside of the US, and it could push the US away from this sector and put them at a competitive disadvantage. So it is something that to really look at closely, because obviously the US is a big country and it could have an effect on the whole crypto industry. On a more positive note, I just wanted to show you a couple of pieces of the puzzle, basically. What I like to say, the little Lego blocks that are being put into place. That will not happen all again. It will not happen all at the same time. So these are crypto is a ground movement, so it's coming from the ground up, and it is being adopted, you know, again at the same time from the ground up. So we're looking at countries that are either failed or you know, the institutions are not strong. They are moving into crypto first to give them some certainty. And one of those is, you know, the moment to say Venezuela is launching the central bank digital currency. You know, as you know, Venezuela's currency has a runaway inflation rates, and many people are already dealing, you know, in using cryptocurrencies for their exchanges, because nobody wants to hold the national currency in their pocket because it's devaluing so quickly. So why is this important? Not so much because a Venezuelan digital currency is of any importance whatsoever. The reason why is that if we developing central bank digital currencies, these projects need to be housed on a blockchain. So, and the infrastructure they will use, it will be some of the infrastructure that's already in place. So whether they use Ethereum, whether they use, you know, another blockchain, they will have to use a blockchain, and will increase the traffic in that particular blockchain, and also the visibility and the amount of users that use this kind of services. Once you get people that get comfortable in using a different standard, they are, I mean, this is what I wanted to, I will always look for the news behind the news, okay? So the effect that these things can have is not so much the, you know, the first impression when you read this kind of news, but what can mean on the ground, you know, on the users. It means that there are people now, they know actually it's okay to use digital currencies, and let's learn how to use them. Once you have learned that, you see that there is nothing to worry about, then, you know, there's no going back. We are witnessing the emergence of a new standard, okay? And this is why I keep looking at these things like Kazakhstan, like Mongolia, like you know, Latin America, you know, El Salvador, not because their importance on the world stage, but simply because taken all together, you can start designing kind of the start of a movement that will be difficult to stop, because you know, yes, the US, the UK, other countries have got other ways of doing things. Some of these countries, like El Salvador, like Venezuela, like Nepal, for example, don't have any other way of doing things. I mean, it's, you know, we're talking about El Salvador, and, you know, everybody knows that they accepting now Bitcoin as legal tender. Now, El Salvador gets about 25% of their GDP as remittances from people that work abroad. Okay, if you think about it, this is a big deal, because if you use a established banking networks or something like Western Union, especially as we're talking here about small remittances of $50, $100 a week or something like this, we are talking about these countries are paying, as a country as a whole, between 8 and 30%. for that as a fee for getting their money repatriated. Okay, so just imagine it on a big scale. How much 25% of the El Salvador gross domestic product is, and think about that between let's say about 10-15% of that can be the benefit of using cryptocurrency instead of Western Union or the traditional banking network. It's absolutely massive for those countries. Just imagine how big could it be in the UK or in the US if your GDP went up 10%. What it can mean for the people on the ground. And then you understand why El Salvador can afford to give their citizens actually free Bitcoin to get to use the system, because they know as a benefit as a whole country and what they will get if people switch to this new way of doing things. I just wanted to keep it quite short today, and I wanted to encourage a discussion because I think it's there is a lot to digest, the Ethereum news are very big news in the crypto world, and so as the Biden administration, and they propose new regulation that they're introducing for cryptos are big deals. And we've seen before, as there are there are several politicians that have come up in support of crypto. So it's not going to be plain sailing, whatever they're trying to introduce. There are people that are dead set against crypto, and we've seen it again reported time and time again. But at the same time, there are lots of politicians that are wanting to facilitate access to the crypto world, and so we are seeing efforts to make it possible for banks to actually custody and allow their customers to buy cryptos. Actually, there was just another little bit of news. Let me bring it up. It was about Shopify. Okay, Binance partners with Shopify. So bring it up. With Shopify and others to offer crypto payments online. Okay, so this is again. They announced a new partnership with Alchemy Pay to bring crypto payment options to e-commerce platforms such as Shopify. So this is what we were talking about before, where we'll see the real difference in adoption rate and people using crypto is when they can use it for the everyday things. So if you go and buy things online now, and you're going to see how do you want to pay? Do you want to pay by credit card, by debit card, by PayPal, or by crypto? So you'll soon be seeing all those options available to you whenever you are buying something, online. And these are the kind of like little deals that need to be in place for that to be possible. Okay, so Alchemy Pay operates in 18 countries, and their network includes Shopify. Shopify obviously is used by almost like 2 million retailers across the world. And will make it easier for their customers to check out using crypto directly from the wallet. Okay, so these are all, I can describe it just as a Lego blocks that are being put in place. Okay, one after another, and we see the number of these Lego blocks actually increasing in speed every week. And every week I bring a few of them to you. So you can read them, but you can find them. You can find them yourself on, if you read crypto-related news. But the goal is to get to the point where you can go and buy your coffee just simply by using your crypto and transferring it from your phone directly to the retailer, tapping the same way that you use Apple Pay right now to pay for things, and you can use a credit card directly from your phone. So when we get to that point, and where the retailer will actually accept direct crypto payments in payment for their goods, and not at the moment. Most systems, there are places where you can do this, but you pay with crypto. Then the intermediary, like in this case, like Shopify or like another place, sells your crypto for the local currency, and then the retailer gets the local currency. Once we can take that step taken out of the way as well, and so you directly pay the retailer with cryptos, and the retailer accepts, I don't know, Cardano or Polkadot or whatever you have, or Raven, any other currency that you have on your wallet directly as a payment, then that would be really the peer-to-peer way of doing business that was envisaged when Bitcoin was created. Okay, so think about Bitcoin proof of concept, and what we're seeing now, which are more or less we can say this is the third iteration of blockchains that are being developed. All the modern ones they are coming to market now. It's kind of like putting that vision into action and delivering on that vision. Okay, so at the moment Bitcoin hasn't quite delivered on that promise. It is used as a store of value, but not so much for transactions. There are less transactions going on in Bitcoin than there were 3 years ago, for example, on the blockchain. But as a store of value, it's been recognized everywhere across the world, recognized as an asset. Okay, there are other solutions now, though, that are trying to do what Bitcoin was trying to do when it was created. Okay, and this is what we're looking at right now. So all these bits of news are important in that direction, because we can't get to solution just in one movement. When we're talking about new technologies, all like kind of like steps, little steps that make things possible. It takes us from A to B. So this is what I'm bringing to you, and let's stop me from sharing my screen now. Let's take some questions. Okay.
All right, so I'd just like to start. Pierre customarily has asked a question, but he's prefaced the question with "please ignore." So we're not going to ignore it, Pierre. Not this time. We only ignore it if it's like 2 minutes to go and it's a really long question. And it's not a lot to do with what you were talking about, but it's in there. So let's just get it covered. It was Pierre going to great lengths, I think, to point out that Tim isn't 30 years old. So that was quite nice, but Tim didn't take it the wrong way. We could go back to that, Luca, if you'd like to continue the discussion about what you were talking about. We could go back to that, or we could talk it. It's more of a general point, really, about getting people into crypto and all the rest of it. So it's up to you. Should we continue with what we were talking about, and maybe I'll formulate a question, or should we go into what Pierre wants to talk about?
No, we can cover that, because I mean this is. It's a matter of being, I say, young up here, more than your age, and because this is a kind of a technology that is going to change the world. There's no doubt about it. Even there was a report came out last week saying how the number of users in crypto has gone from 100 to 200 million in the first four months of the year. Okay, this is from January to April, and this was already a technology that is they had the fastest adoption rate in history, faster than anything that's come before. Okay, and it seems to be also accelerating in speed of adoption. So it is something that we're going to see everywhere. Now, whether you get involved or not is whether you are part of this movement and you benefit from it, or if you're just a spectator. But I just go back. I mean, who wouldn't want it to be to have the possibility of buying some Google shares, some Apple shares, or some Facebook shares when they were, when they were very, very young companies, Amazon. We are. I really believe that we are in that position now. We have the solutions that are being created that will become, the Google, the Amazon of the future. We got Jonathan here as well. I know that is involved with Cardano as well. He's trying to. I don't know if your thing is ready or not. Your stake pool is ready or not. But talking about Cardano, just as an example, they are planning their network to run countries. They're not here to make it. They are planning to change the world, literally. And what can be done with this is, is only limited by your imagination. Okay, so it doesn't really matter if you're 15 or 150. As long as you can see what is possible, you are in the right place. Sorry, Jonathan. How are you getting on with your stake pool? Just want to give you a little plug, because if you got it ready, then we can stake to your pool.
Hi, Luca. Very close. So we've got all the work done now. We're just on the final test, which is to actually mint a block on testnet. And once I've got that done, then I'm confident we can just switch over to mainnet. That'll be very exciting. But yeah, we're nearly there. Yeah, but you're absolutely right.
No,
exciting, and they're going for the world. So I mean, you saw the Ethiopia deal a couple of months ago. That's all students in Ethiopia will be on the blockchain, this year. So they're really, they're not messing about.
No, I was listening to Charles Hoskinson yesterday. He was saying that they already have 1 million students onboarded on the blockchain. And the thing is to get to have the whole 5 million by the end of the year. So they are moving. Yeah, they are moving quickly. There's no much about. But when you are ready, Jonathan, maybe we can give everybody a little demonstration on how you log in, to your wallet, and how you stake to a stake pool. Because one of the big advantages of Cardano is that you can stake and from your wallet and keep control of your coins. So you don't need to put them on an exchange. They can be actually on your cold storage wallet, and you can still stake them. So they are completely safe, and you can benefit from from the rewards that come from the different stake pools. So we'll give you a little plug when you're ready, Jonathan. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right.
You took you through the dataless wallet.
Yeah. Pierre asked the question. Well, Pierre says, "Can we invest in your products?" I'll put it a milder way. How can we get involved?
Yeah.
Well,
Go on, Jonathan.
So the system is really well set up. So it's designed to remove any involvement of me as an operator of the stake pool from risking the community's investments. So you control your keys, you control your wallet. You just take whatever money you've put into Cardano as an investment, and you say, okay, this is in my wallet, but I want to assign the weight of it to this stake pool. And then that stake pool has the opportunity to mint more blocks. So the more that is assigned to my stake pool, the more opportunity I get to create new Cardano mint ADA. And in return, you get between 5 and 6% added onto your ADA each year. So it's a way just of instantly, getting 5% return on your investment, which is, in such stark contrast to the banking industry that it's a no-brainer, really. But of course, you're also benefiting from the whole lift of the crypto market. Go on, Duncan.
Yeah, you've raised an interest.
Sorry, it's all broken up.
There for me, that's kind of is my internet no good? My camera off just to see if that improves things.
Yeah, you sounded like a Dalek.
Yeah, I'm just practicing for my audition.
No, you're okay now. You're okay now.
Although I think they're only taking females on Doctor Who nowadays, so I'll probably miss my chance. So I wanted to ask, let's try again with the video. I think I'm all right now. You raised a point there, Jonathan, right at the very top of what you said. It was something unique about your system, or an advantage of your system, is that it removes any possibility for you to get your hands on my coins, as it were, or for you to run off with them, I imagine, or do something wrong with them. And the point you've raised is just another area of ignorance for me, is that it had not dawned on me that if I were to take my coins and stake them on an exchange, am I in a position where I'm actually trusting the exchange with my coins to a greater degree than I was already? Or is it just all that thing that really, once you decide to work an exchange, you have to trust that they're going to do the right thing with your coins and not disappear or fold or anything, Jonathan. Be fake.
Yeah, that's exactly the point.
Yeah.
So the bit sort of the largest exchange is Binance for staking your ADA. If you're holding your coins with Binance, then they hold the keys to your wallet in effect. So if Binance get hacked, then or if there's an internal job, then they can have access to your ADA. They can remove it around. They can do things with it. And so the same applies with staking. If you've got your ADA in Binance and then you stake it in Binance, I think they have a longer holding period for your ADA as well. You can't do anything about that. You can't, protect your own assets within Binance. Whereas if you've got it in your own wallet, and there's a few alternative wallets that you can hold your ADA in. The largest being Daedalus, and then Yoroi, which are actually developed by the same developers who built Cardano in the first place. And it's all open source tech, so you can, it's vetted by the community. Once you've got that in your wallet, then you hold the keys. You're the one responsible for it. If you get hacked, then your coins are at risk. But if there's an inside job, then it's your do your own, really de-risk your own money. So the other unique thing about, or fairly unique thing about Cardano is that you can stake it with any pool that you want. So once you've got control of it, you can put it with any pool. So if you stake it with me, that's great. You can unlock it from my pool within 5 days. So you can make a decision that I'm not getting the returns that you need from this pool, or I disagree with the morals behind this guy operating this pool anymore. You can just move it to another pool, and then in 10 days, your stake will have moved, and you'll be earning the rewards from another source, and that's completely out of my control. So you're not risking anything by going with a mission-driven pool or something like that, or a low interest rate pool, or a high interest rate pool. You're not risking anything other than it's your decision to do with your money as you wish.
And importantly, sorry, I thought you finished. I was going to say, importantly, you're not sort of putting faith in a
Duncan,
person, are you? I'm just still a Dalek.
Yeah, still a little bit of a Dalek. Yeah. This one thing as well, Jonathan, that we haven't mentioned is that another advantage of using staking directly, like with Cardano, is that there is no liquidity issue, because generally, if you're on Binance or Kraken or another exchange and you stake your coins, then you don't have access to them for the periods that you stake them. So if you stake them for 30 days, then for 30 days you can't use them. Where on Cardano you can unstake whenever you want. So if you need to sell your coins, you can unstake them, and sell them straight away, which is another advantage. So you not only have the interest, but also you have the liquidity of it.
Yeah, and there's Cardano is it's a mature blockchain, but it's young in terms of the functionality that it's got at the moment. So Ethereum has much more functionality, but Cardano's smart contract will release at the end of the month, start of next month, and then we'll start to see the release. There's going to be a flood of new applications onto the market that will let you take your ADA, even though you got it staked with an investment pool. You can still use your ADA in another another ecosystem, another app to yield returns. And there's plenty of young projects out there looking to be the next liquidity pool or loan pool. I mean, we saw Meld make their stake pool offering last month, and yeah, that's been hugely successful. They've raised an awful lot of money to build, and you know, the guys behind it have been public and open. They've let their credentials, their coding history all be investigated. They're just open and accessible, which is a far cry from some of the big crypto companies out there. You don't get access to anybody. You can't ask the questions. They're not open and honest. Whereas you know, this whole industry, it really breeds an air of, okay, we're in it together. We're creating a new way of controlling our money. We're not government controlled. We're not gonna, you know, you can't change how many are printed at the drop of a hat. It's a stable, steady, you know, it's de-risked. It's all in the hands of the robots, you know, as opposed to the emotional humans. So it's, you know, I'm very excited by it. Is the future of finance, and there's no real fighting it. So the news comes out, prices will go up, prices will go down, but long term, there's a whole shift going on. It's yeah.
Right. Thanks, Jonathan. I've still a couple of questions they're asking now to get in touch with you. I see, as soon as your stake pool is ready, then we'll get you to do a demonstration, and you can give everybody a link to how to connect with your stake pool. But it's very easy. Once you've got your wallet, it's very easy. Once you got the name of Jonathan's stake pool, it's very easy to find it and stake to it. It's a very simple process. And the one thing that Jonathan was mentioning is it's the first time this has happened. Sorry, what was that? Somebody was trying to talk. I'm not quite sure.
Oh no, I'll let you finish your point, but I do have another question for Jonathan before we moved on.
Yeah, sorry, carry on then if you want to. I mean, I want to talk about the project that Jonathan was talking about. It's mailed now,
Yeah,
and how important
absolutely.
it is.
I'll ask my question after you've finished, and maybe my internet will be better then.
Yeah. What Jonathan was talking about with mailed is the first time there have been a stake pool offering. So it's a way of bringing out a new token. So we've all been used to, you know, the ICOs, initial coin offerings. Okay, and this is slightly different because there is no money changing hands. So you're not buying the tokens, but what you are doing is you are staking your Cardano onto this particular stake pool that's run by Mailed. And what they are doing, instead of you paying them, they are taking the rewards. So instead of giving you the rewards, at the end of the staking period, will give you the Mailed tokens. So why is that important? Is because, first of all, if you receive interest payments, these are taxable. Okay, so you get interest in new ADAs, you have to declare them and you have to pay tax on them. But you're just parking your ADA somewhere, so you're not receiving anything. And when you receive your tokens, to begin with, your tokens are worth zero. So there is no taxable event. Then when the tokens start going into circulation, start being used, obviously the value will go up. And eventually when you sell them, you pay capital gains tax, but you only pay tax when when and if you sell your tokens. So it's kind of a very tax efficient as a process. And I think I would see a lot more of these stake pool offerings as a way of launching new projects in the near future. So it's very, very, very interesting as a process. And apart from that, it's very interesting as a project. The idea is to where you'll be able to eventually take out loans using your crypto as collateral, and the way that they'd be using your collateral will actually pay back your loan. So their idea is to have loans where you just pay the interest, and in a period of about 3 years, your capital will be paid back. So it's nice to take out money for free as an idea, and again, very tax efficient. So it's keep an eye on it, because it could be a very big project. It hasn't launched yet. It will be a few months yet to launch. I'm keeping my eye on many projects on Cardano because there are things that people are doing already on other blockchains, and Cardano has a huge community. So as soon as there is something for the community to buy, the money is ready and waiting. So yeah, very interesting. Sorry, Duncan, what was the question that you had for Jonathan?
Well, I don't think my connection's any improved at all, really. So I might be still talking to you from just outside the TARDIS. But my question really was, I hope it's not a personal question, but I'll put it simply. Jonathan, what's in it for you? Where's your end? Do you receive a portion of the percent of the gains before you pass them on? Is that how it works?
Yeah, so we as an operator on the blockchain, we're responsible for sort of securing the infrastructure, the actual computers behind the blockchain. So we get paid for our services. But that's an automated thing. So through the success of the pool, there's like a static rate of pay that we receive, which is a minimum of 340 ADA. So we'll be receiving that to actually run the computers, to pay our hosting fees, to replace equipment as it gets older. But then on top of that, there's a percentage that we take from the overall success of our stake pool. So I'm going to be charging 2.9%, I believe, on the overall, and that should return me enough effectively to replace my salary in return for running the pool. The thing that excites me, and why I've set it at 2.9, which is a little bit higher than some of the most of the small pools just starting out. Some of them will give you, only take 1% of that. In effect, for the investors, it doesn't make an awful lot of difference whether there's 1% or 2.9 and being taken out of that whole reward pool. But for me personally, I'm interested in, the real disruption that this technology can bring. So I'm going to take a portion of all the rewards and going to be tying it in with B1G1, which any of us that are on Genius U will know about. So I'm going to have it automated so that every new investor that comes on board, every day that they're staking with my pool, I'll be giving a day of ICT access to students in the developing countries. So the first country I'm working with is Ethiopia. So for every day you're staking with me, there'll be some student who's got access to the internet and computing infrastructure in Ethiopia to progress their learning, and that makes it all worthwhile for me. Because putting time and effort, this is all, it's a bit of a nerdy interest of mine, is this sort of stuff. So I get a lot out of it personally, but I like the investment idea, because all my cash is going into this to earn those rewards as well that the network makes. But also, if I can be paying a portion straight out to lift humanity as a whole, it just ticks all my boxes. So together, I think, you never know, but together, I think that the blockchain industry is really going to level the playing field for a lot of people in developing nations, and really, create opportunity for the human race to grow. Because I keep thinking, how many geniuses are stuck in villages without internet access at the moment, who could be transforming health and prosperity for us all. And this is a way of really, empowering those guys. It's very exciting, and the fact that
Incredible.
Talking a bit too much probably, but the fact that Cardano is partnering up with organizations like World Mobile to actually put internet infrastructure and communication into they're working heavily in Africa, Tanzania at the moment, actually building what we have in every street in England now, internet access. They're getting the access that we have is starting to roll out across the African continent and South America, and it's just an opportunity to see. It's like the banks partnering up with Virgin or something to provide internet access for free to an entire country. It's not something we've ever seen before. And the fact that the Virgin will be giving their equipment away to the villagers who are who are then running the equipment is a whole business model that just wasn't possible without blockchain. So it's very, very exciting. World Mobile is a company that I'm excited about as well. So I've put some of my investment with them, and there's lots of opportunities for thinking about being a conscious investor in all this as well. It's very good times, very good opportunities.
Really beautiful, and it's fantastic the way you.
If any of you are interested, actually, World Mobile are going through the launch right now. So if anybody of you is interested in investing in it, just look them up on Google. Just Google World Mobile token, and you can see the steps that you need to take if you want to put some money in the project. You know what? I just wanted to say something about Cardano, because I always talk about it, and I have got involved with Cardano myself simply because I like the purpose behind them. I like the founder, and also I found myself that as I interact with people involved in the Cardano community, I find that they are my sort of people, and I get on very well with the spirit in the whole community, which is somehow different from kind of like what you see in other crypto communities. They're more like focused simply on individual gains and getting rich. There is something else. There is something else behind the Cardano community that moves the whole group as a whole. The whole blockchain as a whole, which is very inspiring. Really, really inspiring. So I'm really happy. Jonathan, that you're on the call, and very happy to give you some space once you're ready to go with the pool, because it's something I would promote every day, if I get the chance. Let's spread the word, eh?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's evangelize. God, thank you very much, Luca.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'll drop a link into the chat and how you can make sure that you've got hold of me when you need. I run a Discord server that you can come and ask me questions as well. But yeah, the people in the community are, I struggled for a long time in business. I run my own web development business, and I never found a sort of peer network where people were talking and thinking about mine. The first place I found it was in Genius U, and the second now is in the Cardano community. It's such a rich environment for clever people who are interested in improving things overall. So I've got well involved in there. I'm involved in some of the governance behind it as well. We've been running Idea Fest, where anybody can put a proposal into the Catalyst community and earn chunks or be given chunks of money to actually go away and build things. So if anybody's interested in the tech and how it's evolving and who's getting involved, then I can point you to all sorts of places where you can just sit and watch and get onto calls and hear people talking about exciting things and contribute your own ideas as well. It's a really engaged community, and so far I've seen very, very little penny pinching or malicious action. It's all been very generous. Just about working together to move each other, very much like Genius U. So yeah, I'm excited by it.
Yeah, and the other thing, Jonathan, as well, is it's interesting that all these projects are voted on by the community itself. So the last round we had about like 250,000 people voting on the community proposal. So it's kind of like growing every time, every month. The numbers are growing, and this is kind of just to make you understand. This is not like people that own Cardano in general. I'm talking about. We're not talking about this is 250,000 people really involved in the community that take their time into reading the proposals and voting on the proposals. Okay, so just to give you an idea of how big and how involved the community is, it's really massive. And basically Cardano is completely decentralized now. So the block creation is completely decentralized. And what they do is that they have this kind of like a community grant, and the money that is in this community grant is then, as Jonathan was saying, is given to different projects. That who the money goes to is decided by the community. The community votes on these proposals, and obviously the ones that then receive more votes get funded. So it is really when you have the whole community that's involved, you end up developing the projects for the right reasons, because it isn't just like a chairman or CEO that says, yes, you win, you lose. And this is kind of the whole community coming together. So you get good projects going forward.
Yeah,
it's really fantastic. So
and it's all public and accessible as well. So nothing's behind doors. It's all up front. You get to sit on the board and sit in the boardroom and probe them on what the next steps are. So they have town halls every week. So you can go onto a call. You can ask questions of the people in the community who are involved in decision making, and actually get your voice heard. I get into the tech, and I get all that met, as well as my pockets looking healthier each week. So it's great, really good.
Fantastic. This is turning into a Cardano room today. For anybody that's interested, just look into Project Catalyst. This is where these proposals are being put through and they're being voted on. And also just look it up on YouTube. You can see a few videos. You can follow both Charles Hoskinson, which is the creator, and IOHK. This is the company that is owned by him and that developed Cardano. And they, on IOHK, you see all the videos, all the updates every month, and as I say, Jonathan, town hall discussions and the updates. They do an update every month as well, saying everything that's happening in the network. So yeah, just start following. Just look it up for yourself. Don't just believe what we say. Everything is open and available online. Just knowing where to look.
Yeah, I was very excited. I got my face onto the Cardano 360 this month as well. So
fantastic. Fantastic. I haven't seen that, so I'll go and have a look at this.
I'll pull out the very second so you can jump to it. It's very quick, yeah. But gave me
your claim to fame.
My 15 milliseconds of fame.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, Duncan, do we have any more questions?
Praise for Jonathan and his project, and for his input, and for switching up the call a little bit for us. I think this week, not that the calls aren't great anyway, but it's really nice to have something different. I've got no internet, have I, guys? I'm sorry.
No, we can hear you okay at the moment. You just don't worry about it. Just to do it on an audio thing, so at least you won't use as much.
One thing I'd just like to say, I know it's a bit of a minor point, but it's also a major one. It's really nice to hear what Jonathan said right at the end there, which was it's also working for him already, and your balance is going up a little bit, and you're seeing personal benefits in that way. So I think that's just what's deserved, isn't it, for putting so much in and creating something so marvelous. Can't wait to see more about it when you actually launch it. And something I was going to say before you even mentioned all the stuff about B1G1 and all of that kind of thing, it seemed to appeal to me because it's something that benefits everybody, and I didn't even realize that you did mean everybody. So yeah, that's just my 2 pence of further praise, Jonathan. Thank you.
Okay.
So the recording, to answer Dana's question, is always in the library of Luca's Circle. So what I'll do for everybody is, as I always do, I will just drop the link for Luca's Circle as the last thing, as it were, so that we can make sure we know where we're at. And finally, I just want to say, I hope nobody minds me mentioning this, we're coming to the end of the Educator Festival. There's a few days left. And just a reminder, not a plug, but Luca does have various incentives and discounts on his paid projects that will expire at the end of the festival, because we'll be moving towards Luca's micro school, which is very exciting. That will all be up and running on Genius U by the end of today, I hope, or early Saturday. So please come back into Crypto Investor Club Circle, the link of which I'm just going to drop into the chat, and have a look under the products tab, so that you can just have a look at Luca's micro school. Obviously, I think it's wonderful.
Thank you.
And recordings in the library of that circle under the tab.
Yeah, actually, today's classes, it was streamed direct on the Genius U group as well, the Genius U Crypto Investor Club.
So yes, of course.
I can see
just press
there,
play.
so you can just press play and it's already there. But it's generally I put the links in the library, so you can watch this one and past crypto.
Last minute question from Dana. How do we participate in world mobile purchase or launch or token launch? Maybe is that what you mean? Is there a wholesale group purchase?
No, just go onto their site, and it will tell you what you need to do. What you need to do to participate. You just need to register. You need to create a vault on World Mobile, and then you can apply to purchase your tokens. There's still, I think, about yesterday I got an email. There's still about 14 million tokens available. So there's still time. It's been going on for a few weeks. I think there's a couple of weeks left. So there is still time to buy them. But obviously, this is not investment advice. Okay, so look at the project. So it's something that speaks to my heart. From a point of view, it's something that I like to do anyway. I mean, it is a good project from an economic point of view as well. But even if it wasn't, it's something that I would support anyway. Yeah, look it up. There's lots of it. There's the Cardano Africa show. I've got a link on the Crypto Investor Club as well. A couple of months ago, talked extensively about World Mobile and what they are doing, so you can get a better idea of the whole project. But there are several interviews. Even if you go and search it on YouTube, there's several interviews with the World Mobile founders, and Cardano itself. I mean, Charles Hoskinson is a supporter, has personally invested in the project as well. It's kind of like, we were talking before about this kind of Lego blocks that need to go into place. How do people in Africa that live maybe in a rural village, how can they participate in this revolution? They first of all, the first step is they need to get online. So this is kind of like the basic service. It's almost, now is getting to a level of almost being considered a human need, connection to the to the internet. So this is the first step. Once you got that, then they can access different services. And already, if you listen to them, there is an example of when they tested the system, and they've installed one of these solar powered mobile masts in one of the villages. And seeing what effect 1 year later, because they went back to the same village, they couldn't go and service the mast during lockdown, so they went back after the lockdown, and the village was completely transformed, because now they have not only they have connectivity, but they have electricity that they didn't have before. And not only that, but it was kind of mainly a fishing village, and the stuff that they fished was very valuable in other parts of the world. But obviously, they didn't know because they couldn't connect. Now they could connect, and they could find they sold some of their catch at sometimes 4 or 5 times the price that they were selling it at before. So we actually changed lives on the ground. Simply the availability, the possibility of being connected, and without even considering that now they're connected, they got access to financial services, insurance, and identity, and everything else that comes with it. So it's quite a big deal, and something that is one of those projects that big tech will not support because there isn't enough money in them. So it's where sometimes being in this world, the little guys like me and you now can make a difference, because the founders were just people like me and you. They had a vision, had an ideal, and now they're making it become a reality. That shows you just what the power of purpose and the power of a vision can do, and where it can take you. Sorry, Jonathan, you want to say?
Yeah, and again, the thing that I love about it is that everybody in this sort of ecosystem is open to being interrogated. So Mickey from World Mobile has been on to people's podcasts, just being interviewed. So he's the CEO of a international network company, putting infrastructure into countries, and he's just accessible for an interview. I'll drop a link to one in the chat that I found really interesting, and it just made me think, okay, is he genuine? Is he just a white boy who's onto a good thing? But no, he's just a guy who wants to make a difference. He's not ashamed about there's a monetary benefit to it, but he's making it the technology accessible for villagers. And if you can be making money while doing that sort of great action, then it makes it all worthwhile for everybody. And there's no reason why we should struggle in little silos. So yeah, I enjoyed this podcast. It's good.
It's great. It's not just it's kind of like one of those projects that's kind of like a win-win situation, because I think that technically what they do is they finance the local business people to give them the finance to install one of these mobile masts. It cost about $5,000. So they're not talking about huge investment. So they help them to give them the finance to do this, and then they basically pay back slowly with the money they make in maintaining this and making it then available to other people to connect to the internet. So it's kind of like the business people have another stream of income. The local users have access to electricity and access to the internet, and everybody benefits. So this is what we're looking. Is what's so exciting about this. What this technology is allowing. Is this community aspects where the value that's being generated stays in the community, and this is a big change between this and maybe somebody else doing it from a centralized system like a Google or a Amazon, where they take all the benefits. They take all the money that's generated. Here is kind of like different, where everybody's benefiting from the product. So I'm really happy to give them time if you're talking about it, help people if you need any help. And Jonathan, I'm sure that you will as well if somebody wants to some help in getting involved, because it is really for a good cause and for a good reason. Okay,
Wonderful. All right. Well, we haven't got any more questions, Luca. We've got a few comments, of course, very nice ones. Not just me, obviously. But has anybody got any points they'd like to raise? Any final questions? We're a little bit over time, but obviously nobody's in a rush to rush off. If anybody's got anything else to add, nothing in the chat. Have you got any final words, Luca? Then, in that case.
Yeah, I think Dana was talking about Starlink. It's that's another level. So in the sense that yes, Starlink can be available everywhere, but it's very, very costly so far. So until they can bring down the cost to about maybe 5% of what they charge at the moment, this is not going to be available for us, or at least not for the people that we are trying to help with these projects. Okay, yes, fine. Somebody in South Africa that is a millionaire, something that wants to install that in their villa, that's fine. But the villages that earn maybe $10 a month wouldn't be able to use this. Okay.
I'll tell you what I noticed, and I just thought, to me, right at the start of the call when you were giving us our news, it just displayed to me what a special place this crypto space is, because I think for the first time ever I saw a news piece that you shared, good news accompanied by a picture of Mr. Maduro. So it just really shows, doesn't it, the changes that are taking place really in a huge way around the world based on crypto. I don't think we'd ever have seen a positive news story with a picture of Mr. Maduro before this, would we?
I think you're right. No, definitely. Honestly, I keep saying it to everybody. It's not just because I'm selling my courses, but keep saying to everybody, this is really a unique moment in time. And what we're witnessing right now may not happen again in our lifetime. Really, kind of like it's time where this will affect everything that we do. Every aspect of our life. So just go back. I mean, we all possibly can remember. when the internet came along and we had Nobel Prize winners, they were saying that this was just a fad and it wouldn't have any economic impact, in what we do. Just think about it right now. I mean, you get lots of naysayers that say that this is all a scam, and it will all disappear, with all everything that we invest will turn to zero. But if you stop looking at your portfolio and start looking at the tech behind it, then you will see in a different way. So I'm just thinking, if you are here, and even if you're not, and if you got friends that are just on the fringes of this, tell them, look, start getting educated and start getting informed, and if you got a little bit of money, then start experimenting with it as well, because you might not get another chance. Okay, so that's my last word.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Luca. And thank you especially to Jonathan and everybody else who's joined us. Of course, I'm sure next week will be just as riveting. And from now on, we're going to be counting down, aren't we? Because we're getting closer and closer to Jonathan sharing more with us when he does his launch. So that's something lovely to look forward to. As I said, don't forget to get back into the circle. Guys, I say this every week. If things come up through the week, anything you'd like to share or questions you'd like to ask, I know Luca does check the circle quite regularly, and I do myself. So feel free to converse in there. Don't forget, like I said, there are some offers available before the end of the festival if you wanted to chat with Luca about that, and keep your eye out for the micro school, because we will be adding that into the circle, and I'll be posting quite heavily about it because I want everybody to know. So thank you all, and we'll see you next week. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.